Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be taking a look at Festool's brand new CT26 EI. This brand new dust extractor has integrated Bluetooth just like the CT MIDI that I've been using for exactly 4 years. They also released this in the 36 liter and the 48 liter versions, as well as having auto clean versions for both the 36 and 48, which is great if you're doing a lot of drywall work. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the CT26, which is ideal for the small shop like mine. Let's take a look at some of the features of this new dust extractor, and we'll also do a little bit of comparison to the CT MIDI I over here. All right, so let's take a look at everything this comes with. Of course, instruction manual, warranty information, 25-foot power cable, which is amazing, same as on the MIDI. Let's open it up, see what's inside. Inside we have the 3.5 meter anti-static hose with the 27 millimeter connection. They also have a 36 millimeter version available as an accessory. We have the filter bag, and we have the power cord wrap for the back. So now installing the filter bag in the CT26 is very easy. There's a little kind of notch down here that this goes into. We can open that, push that on. The green bit comes down onto that top latch and holds it into place. Then just kind of present your bag like that and throw the top back on. All right, and installing the cord wrap on the back, very easy, just 2 Torx 25 screws to screw in. So something I want to show you in the back is that this can actually fold in, which allows you, when you want to use the full power cord, to just pull it off in one go. Really convenient, just kind of one of those peak things with German engineering. Then all that we have left to do is connect the hose. And what's also convenient with the CTs is that there is hose storage. Wrangling a fresh hose, not so easy. But and there you can actually see that you can store the whole hose in the top, which is great for transport. All right, so now that we're all unpacked with the CT26 EI, let's go through some of the main features. So in the name itself, this is a 26 liter capacity. So in the bottom right here with the filter bag, that's just under 7 gallons. The CFM is 138 CFM, which is just slightly higher than the 130 of the CT MIDI, and that 138 carries through the entire new series of 26, 36, and 48 liter extractors. There is a built-in HEPA filter underneath here, so if you unlatch that, you can see on the bottom that there is a HEPA filter, which is great. This is also compatible with water extraction, so you can get a separate water filter when you are doing wet work, which is amazing. This is kind of not just meant to be that dust extractor when you're working in dusty situations, but it can really kind of replace your shop vac, and that's how I've been using my CT MIDI I. Now, as far as the reasons why I bought the 26, I think that this is fairly compact, and we'll do a little bit more of a comparison to the CT MIDI I, which is even more compact than this. I didn't want the 36 or the 48 because once I put on the CT Cyclone, this would then get to the point where it is higher than my workbenches, and I wanted it to be able to sit below so that then I can prop it up a little bit for support of material. All right, before we get to the electronics, let's just go over some of the creature comforts of this device. So we have some really big wheels on these, significantly bigger than on the CT MIDI, although I never found those limiting. We also do have a brake on the front, which is great. So you just push that down, and it's gonna grip the floor, non-marking pad on the bottom. Then you can just simply release it. So just a nice way to prevent it from moving around. And what else do we have on here? We have an integrated handle on the top. So even when you do have the hose wrapped around there, you can easily transport it by grabbing that handle, which is great. A little different structure from the hose garage on the CT MIDI, but really nicely updated. And so now let's talk about the upgraded electronics on the CT26 EI. And these are significantly improved over the previous CT26, 36, 48, and much more in line with the CT MIDI I. So over here we have the main power button, we have the manual button to turn on and off the vacuum for pilgrims and cavemen if you're not using Bluetooth. Then over here we have suction control, so we can dial that down. For me, I almost always leave it on max. I'm doing a lot of track style work, miter style work, but if I am doing finish detail sanding, I do typically bring it down to the lowest setting. Over here we have Bluetooth, so right now it would be in connection mode. Then over here we have auxiliary power. Now let's go over each of these types of things. Let's just turn that off. And first of all, let's plug in a Festool sander. So we're gonna plug that in there. So the dust extractor's off, or sorry, like it's not sucking right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the sander and you're gonna hear the extractor turn on automatically. And then once I turn off the sander, it's gonna run for a few more seconds to just kind of clear that final dust, and then it is all set. Now, Bluetooth could not be easier to set up. I think it's one of those things that some people will be intimidated with, but what's great with Festool and a lot of their cordless tools is that the Bluetooth is actually integrated into the batteries and not into the tool itself. So it makes pairing really easy. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pair my Carvex right here with Bluetooth battery to the CT26EI. So I'm gonna press this to put it in connection mode. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn this on. And you'll see that now it's paired and it even turned on. And then now that it's paired, anytime I turn this on, the extractor turns on as well. Absolutely amazing. Just to show you how easy it is to pair another tool. So right now it's paired with the Carvex, but if I press this button, and even on this drill, it's now paired. So easy to do. The other thing that I am gonna be adding to this, but don't have it right now, I do have one on my CT MIDI, is the Bluetooth button for which most people will attach to the end of the hose here, so that you're doing something, you're cleaning up, and you just have a button right there that's connected to Bluetooth. So absolutely amazing upgrade in the electronics. Great that this is all integrated. All right, the final party trick I want to show you is just that you can put any of the T-lock sustainers on here. So you just simply slide that on, turn this, and now it's securely locked into the sustainer. So this is great, not only for kind of taking any sustainers that you have, but in this case, we actually have one of the accessories that I love for the CTs, and that is the 36mm hose. So I typically use that when I'm hooked up to my table saw, as well as coming with some various cleaning ends. And another accessory that I absolutely love is the CT Cyclone. So I don't know if I'm gonna have this running on my CT MIDI or the CT26 most of the time, but easily locks in. Connect this hose to the front, connect the main anti-static hose in there, and you're all set. So really nice to have that. And as I had mentioned, another accessory that I think is a must-have on any of these Bluetooth-equipped extractors is this little Bluetooth device right here. This one's not powered on right now. This is on my CT MIDI, but I will be getting one for the 26 as well. And the final accessory that I really want to highlight is this dust nozzle right here. Absolutely amazing. Oh, not having the Bluetooth button there is a little annoying, but I'm going to turn on the vac. And that just sucks onto the wall like that. And then you can do your drilling and you're gonna have all your dust collected. All right, so before I wrap this video up, I did just wanna show you some of the differences between the CT MIDI I and the CT26. I think the 26, 36, 48, the new ones at least, the EI versions, kind of bring all the creature comforts that the CT MIDI I brought 4 years ago, which is kind of shocking. So yeah, it's very similar front. You can see power, manual, suction, Bluetooth, just designed slightly differently, but same functionality. The CT MIDI I also has this hose garage on the top that has this solid surface, which is really convenient. And I think that that's one of the things that I do wish that the CT26 had, was some sort of door on the top, just to kind of hold stuff down, make it a little easier to connect the sustainers on top. The CT MIDI I also has this right here for cleaning the HEPA filter, which is great, whereas the CT26EI does not have that. Very similar brake on the front, and you can see just kind of the wheel differences right there. And as far as dimensions are concerned, the CT26 is 45 millimeters taller, it's 45 millimeters wider, and it is 160 millimeters longer. So that's where we have a significantly longer wheelbase on the 26. The CT MIDI I, it is 4 gallon, or which I believe is 15 liters. This is 26 liters, so a pretty big upgrade, kind of like that 60%, 70% increase in capacity on the 26, while maintaining a pretty compact size. And that's one of the reasons why I went for the 26. And if the new 26s weren't released, I was very much on the verge of buying another CT MIDI I. I just love this. This is In the last 4 years, this has been the most used, abused tool in my shop. Use it for absolutely everything. I use it to replace my shop vac when cleaning up the shop, especially with the CT Cyclone. It really kind of eases the pressure on some of the filter bags. So this has been absolutely amazing. I will be keeping both, absolutely. Like, they've just been running into too many things recently where it would have just been so handy to have another extractor handy, especially as I do a lot of miter saw work and would have one hooked up to it relatively permanently. So that's kind of the main comparison here. This is 130 CFM versus 138, so very similar suction overall. So not too many differences with that. Again, HEPA on both, wet capabilities on both. Blowing. So I think that does it for kind of what I want to say about the 26 EI compared to the MIDI I. And this retails for $849 US or $1145 Canadian, so it's not a cheap tool by any means. But the use that I've gotten out of the CT MIDI I, which retails right now for $679 US or $939 Canadian, it's just been the most used tool in my shop. I can add all the tools that I want, and this is just going to be the workhorse that's always running in the background. With either of these, if you're interested, I would highly recommend the 36mm kit. That I think I have the tradesman version that has kind of like a little cleaner accessory as well. I did show that in the video very briefly. It's just a very well-priced kit for what you get into it, rather than just buying the 36mm hose on its own. The CT Cyclone is kind of a luxury to have. I absolutely love it. I think a lot of people kind of get into the comparison of the CT Cyclone versus Dust Deputy versus Oneida versus all that. The reality is they're all going to perform really well, so get whatever Cyclone makes sense for you if you want to go that route. It does save a ton of filter bags. I barely changed the filter bag over the last year and a half, yet the Cyclone I am kind of dumping out every few weeks. So it's a great way to save some money. Bluetooth remote I think is a must on any of these, and just that dust nozzle is just amazing and something that I really enjoy using. So yeah, this is going to kind of find that permanent addition to my shop. I don't know how I'm going to configure them right now. I'll probably have one hooked up to the miter saw all the time, knowing that I can then unhook it and move it around. That might be the CT MIDI I. Still trying to figure that out. It's probably going to be the one that's hooked up to the Cyclone the most. Yeah, I'm not going to buy another Cyclone because they are very expensive. But yeah, that's kind of been my coverage of the CT26. I think that this is a great addition to the shop. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on dust extraction and dust collection, all that kind of stuff. But for me, these are kind of the workhorses of my shop, and that's why I have added the second one in the CT26. So any questions, let me know below, and stay tuned for more videos soon. Thanks.